In this version of Earth, aliens lock up their prisoners inside human bodies without humanity knowing about it. 𝐷 and Thunder are robots that can take a humanoid form and stay on Earth to make sure no aliens escape. One day, 𝐷 travels to the past to kill a woman controlled by an alien and notices she left a baby behind, so he adopts her as his daughter. Unfortunately, the leader of the alien criminals called Controller manages to escape his human prison and releases a cloud of hava, a red smoke that can transform Earth's atmosphere so aliens can survive on it for more than a few minutes. Many people die inside this cloud and tons of alien prisoners wake up while Controller gets ready to make the cloud blow up, hoping to cover the whole planet and not just the city. 𝐷 and Thunder try to stop him, and during the fight they end up traveling to the past with Controller and 𝐷's daughter in their spacecraft. Thunder is shut down and 𝐷 is killed while the girl falls in the river with 𝐷's special dagger, which is found later by fishermen. 10 years pass and 𝐷's daughter 𝐸𝐮 becomes a young woman desperate to find the dagger so she can stop the aliens. During her search she meets the mage 𝐼𝐸 and together they fight against the aliens that also want the dagger. In the end 𝐸𝐮 gets the dagger and escapes on a boat while 𝐼𝐸 discovers that when he was a kid, Controller left his old host and jumped into 𝐼𝐸's. Now 𝐸𝐮 must find Thunder and the spacecraft so she can take the dagger to the present and stop the hava from exploding. She goes to town wearing a fake mustache and learns that the local woodcutters saw Thunder around. At that moment 2 mercenaries show up and want to capture 𝐸𝐮 for the reward. 𝐸𝐮 throws an axe at them but they insist on fighting, so she pulls a rope to send one of them flying. Then she fights the other one, easily defeating him in a few moves and leaving him on top of a hot pot. On her way out, 𝐸𝐮 notices 2 cats following her. Meanwhile an unconscious 𝐸𝐸 is found by mages 𝐸𝐿 and 𝐿, who realize 𝐸𝐸 is the boy with the monster inside that their master warned them about. When 𝐸𝐸 wakes up, he asks a lady in the temple for information and she shares the story. An alien in a human body called 𝐷 arrived 10 years ago and was rescued by masked monks. He thanked them by attacking them with his tentacles, which left monk 𝐵 blind. Then 𝐷 took control of the monks and is using them to find the dagger and release Controller. Meanwhile in town, 𝐵 is showing off his sword skills by doing some tricks with a merchant to attract clients. A man in the crowd attacks him thinking a blind man is easy, but he gets defeated quickly by 𝐵. At that moment the mercenaries arrive and tell him that 𝐸𝐮 has the dagger, which 𝐵 wants to fix his eyes. Back to 𝐸𝐸, he decides he'll need the dagger to get rid of his inner monster too. He's soon found by 𝐸𝐿 and 𝐿, who check on his chi and give him back his magical fan. When they accidentally wave it, it makes the cats following 𝐸𝐮 transform. It turns out these are 𝐸𝐸's warrior catmen, who are following 𝐸𝐮 for the dagger. They notice the mercenaries are coming closer so they start running away, quickly climbing on the roof to hide. At the same time, 𝐸𝐿 grabs 𝐸𝐸, mentioning the monster inside him. 𝐸𝐸 starts feeling weird and 𝐸𝐿 suddenly finds her arm being twisted, but she can't let go because the hidden monster is draining her energy. 𝐿 pushes 𝐸𝐸 back with magic to free her, and 𝐸𝐸's body starts moving on its own, using the fan to create wind magic that destroys some food stands. 𝐸𝐸 yells as his body jumps all over the place so the 2 mages begin using music to take over him. They make 𝐸𝐸 dance then throw him in the river, knocking him out. Moments later, 𝐸𝐸 wakes up tied in the temple again and the 2 mages are asleep. He's in control of his body again, so he grabs his fan and uses wind magic to get out of the temple. In the evening, 𝐸𝐮 prepares a room in an inn as a trap and hides on the roof with the gun she brought from the future. 𝐷 still finds her and 𝐸𝐮 quickly opens fire, but 𝐷 runs away and lets the other monks chase after her. She runs through the building and manages to hide in a room where she can see 𝐵 arrive ready to fight. A monk tries shooting arrows at him, however 𝐵 can easily redirect them back at him. Then he starts fighting the other monks, bringing them all down in seconds by using fast moves and powerful wind techniques. Afterward he throws a sword through the window, so 𝐸𝐮 dodges it and tries to send it back, only for the shockwave to make her fall. 𝐵 immediately captures her and takes the dagger, revealing he saw it before when 𝐷 came to the past to defeat an alien and took baby 𝐸𝐮. While 𝐵 tries to interrogate 𝐸𝐮, 𝐸𝐸 uses an invisibility cloak to enter the room and take the dagger. 𝐵 hears him and starts attacking him, destroying most of the room. 𝐸𝐮 runs out right before 𝐸𝐸 is overpowered and thrown out of the building. When the mercenaries confront 𝐸𝐸, 𝐸𝐮 reveals she took the invisibility cloak and covers 𝐸𝐸 with it so they can escape safely. 𝐵 tries to follow them based on noise, but the catmen show up pretending to be merchants and make enough noise to confuse 𝐵's senses. A flashback then shows 𝐸𝐮 2 days before the hava cloud appeared. She's 𝐵's descendant and keeps his heirloom safe in a bag. While she's meditating by the river, she notices the cops fail to catch a criminal called 𝐸, who bumps into her and punches her. 𝐸𝐮 immediately retaliates, bringing the guy down in just a few moves. Moments later 𝐸 wakes up in the hospital and tries attacking the doctor, who presses his broken neck to make him free her. After the doctor leaves, 𝐸 reveals he just attacked to steal her card, which he uses to open his handcuffs. The next day a new group of alien criminals is sent to Earth and 𝐸 is one of the many people that gets an alien inserted in his body. Afterward he doesn't remember what happened, and he makes sure to escape before the cops arrive. When 𝐸𝐮 comes to the hospital, She notices a young 𝐸𝐮 walking by with a phone and overhears Guard and Thunder talking about 𝐸𝐮 recording something important. They also mention her niece Min's son, who is 𝐸𝐮's classmate. A desperate 𝐸𝐮 rushes home and discovers the girls watching a video they hide from her. 𝐸𝐮 waits for them to fall asleep and checks 𝐸𝐮's phone, getting a big shock when she sees the aliens at the hospital. The following day the controller releases the �𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼. As everyone in town panics, 𝐸𝐮 goes home to grab 𝐵𝐼𝐼's heirloom, then she runs to the tents the police have set up around the 𝐼𝐼𝐼𝐼. She shows them 𝐸𝐮's video, but they think it's just a trick edit from the internet. Afterward she drives to Guard's home and sees him and Thunder fight against the aliens. The robots get thrown around a lot and 𝐸𝐮 must stay hidden inside a building to avoid being found by the aliens. In the end she watches Guard open a portal into the past and disappear with the creatures, leaving behind a second spacecraft. In the past, 𝐸𝐮 has told the same story to Muruk and he realizes she's the girl he saved from a river 10 years ago. Muruk explains that after meeting 𝐸𝐮, he came across Controller and he passed out when he tried transferring the alien. He can't remember the rest but he can feel something inside him. However 𝐸𝐮 refuses to kill him, saying that if she survived as a baby then he deserves the same right. After telling Muruk to just be himself, 𝐸𝐮 leaves. In the meantime, 𝐧𝐻𝐿 and the monks find Guard's ship. Moments later, Muruk realizes he didn't tell 𝐸𝐮 about the woodcutters that saw Thunder. At that moment a bunch of soldiers arrive in town looking for 𝐸𝐮 and two mercenaries insult Muruk, who immediately throws them through a wall. Then the catmen start following 𝐸𝐮's scent until they find her sleeping on a roof. They tell her of the danger in town and agree to leave together to look for Thunder. In the morning, the group makes it to a cabin in the woods and 𝐸𝐮 finds a picture Thunder took of her and Guard with the message "Run away, you fool." There's a painting of the robot on the wall, and Thunder himself is abandoned on a shelf. Unfortunately he's run out of energy so he isn't responding. Outside, the woodcutters come back and are shocked to see the catmen, running away in fear because they remember seeing them 10 years ago. Confused, the catmen follow them to town to ask for an explanation. At that moment, the soldiers arrive looking for Muruk's teacher Dong-I. A catman immediately starts fighting them and doesn't see the archer behind him, so his brother jumps in to act as a shield. Then the soldiers leave with Dong-I as Muruk arrives just in time to see the wounded catman disintegrate. His energy reaches Thunder, who activates for a few seconds before shutting down again. Later in the evening, Chung-Woon and 𝐸𝐠𝐿 go to the temple, where they find a bunch of dead soldiers and monks. In the back they encounter Nung-Pa, who explains everyone was already dead when he arrived. Soon Muruk and his catman also come and go upstairs, where they find Dong-I with a sword in his chest. Furious, Muruk starts searching the building while Dong-I uses his last breath to tell the catman that both cats came out of Thunder 10 years ago. In the basement, 𝐸𝐮 finds Guard's spaceship and Thunder begins glowing. Suddenly 𝐵𝐻𝐿 comes out of hiding in its alien form and stabs the remaining catman. Muruk rushes in and throws an axe at the creature, causing it to run. Then the alien attacks the two mages and 𝐸𝐮, who quickly opens fire. Nung-Pa also throws his sword and cuts the creature's tentacle to force it to let 𝐸𝐮 go. As she hits the ground, the dagger falls out of her pocket and the alien grabs it before running again. Nung-Pa follows it to fight it, but he can barely use his sword before he's pushed onto the lower floor. Next Muruk tries to fight the alien too, however he isn't fast enough and the creature stabs him in the chest with the dagger. Muruk falls in pain and 𝐸𝐮 rushes to his side to take out the dagger. This activates an important memory. When Controller was about to jump into Muruk's body, Guard appeared and pushed Controller away just in time. Controller rolled down the hill and found 𝐸𝐮, so the alien transferred to her body instead. At the same time Muruk died and all his power was transferred to Muruk's body, which is the weird thing he can feel inside. Thunder landed inside the woodcutter's house, where he scanned the woodcutters and the cats for inspiration. That way he created the warrior catmen with his last energy so they could protect Muruk. In the present, the second catman also dies and the energy goes back to Thunder, who finally wakes up for good. Downstairs, 𝐸𝐮 is shocked by the memory and gets ready to self-delete with her gun, but the alien inside her stops the bullet with a tentacle. As 𝐵𝐻𝐿 returns to his human form, Controller takes over 𝐸𝐮's body and sends Thunder flying when he tries to approach her. In 𝐸𝐮's body, Controller uses the dagger to activate the spaceship and the time portal. At that moment Nung-Pa guides his sword to knock the dagger off 𝐸𝐮's hand and grab it himself. Controller immediately attacks him with his tentacle and the dagger falls, so the mages run to retrieve it. This puts them in front of the time portal, which takes the mages, Controller, and 𝐵𝐻𝐿 into the present. Controller appears inside the Hava cloud and his presence causes all the aliens inside humans to start waking up. However 𝐵𝐻𝐿 appears at the hospital. Meanwhile 𝐵𝐻𝐿 rushes into the police tent again to warn them about the danger and the cops quickly knock her out with a taser and handcuff her in a police car. Soon a team of agents enters the Hava cloud but their bullets are useless against a bunch of aliens who bring them down in just a few minutes. The camera on the agent's uniform catches sight of the aliens before it gets destroyed too. In the meantime, the two mages plus the dagger land inside a gym. At that moment the footage of the aliens appears on the news and the mages think the TVs are the real thing, so they jump on the treadmill to destroy the screens. The cops quickly come to arrest them, and when the mages try to take the guns from them, they get knocked out with a taser. Both mages are thrown in the same police car as 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾, who wakes up and sees them magically remove their handcuffs. At that moment 𝐾𝐢 appears driving like a maniac and hits the police car, causing it to crash against another vehicle and start rolling around. It lands on top of a vent lid and 𝐸𝐫𝐸 falls through it, sending her down a pipe and into a tunnel. 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 takes the handcuff keys from the unconscious driver and frees herself. Then she takes the gun and fires at 𝐾𝐢, who dodges the shots and comes after them. Then 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 and 𝐁𝐥∞ fall through the vent too and reunite with 𝐸𝐫𝐸 to start running as 𝐾𝐢 lands in the tunnel too. Minutes later they take the stairs to come out and the mages mention 𝐸𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾, causing 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 to connect them to her niece's friend. 𝐾𝐢 soon finds them and hits 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 with his tentacle to knock her down while the mages hide inside a train. 𝐸𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 then arrives looking for the dagger, so 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 carefully sneaks away. At that moment 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 gets a call from Min's son, who went to 𝐸𝐲's home to look for her friend and has seen the spaceship. 𝐧𝐴𝐻𝐿 arrives to get the ship too, so Min's son has to hide. In the past, Thunder wakes up and awakens 𝐸𝐸𝐾 too. After explaining he's the Catman, Thunder uses his power to activate Guard's energy inside 𝐸𝐸𝐾, allowing him to summon the special armor. 𝐸𝐸𝐾 doesn't know how to use it and damages the temple in the process. Nearby 𝐁𝐥 notices the dagger cut his hand when he touched it and now he can see again. Suddenly 𝐸𝐸𝐾's armor disappears and Thunder concludes the power is unstable, meaning there's remaining energy interfering in the room. He finds enough traces of it to open a portal, so he summons the spaceship in the basement and transforms it into a car so he and 𝐸𝐸𝐾 can travel to the present too. As soon as they land, 𝐸𝐸𝐾 is amazed by everything in the city and Thunder has to explain what a taxi is. They still can see some energy in the sky, meaning both time periods are connected. Then Thunder transforms the car into a spaceship again so they can fly to find the dagger. Meanwhile 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 has escaped and is retrieving her heirloom. At the same time, the train with the mages takes off and they try opening the door, only to get scared by the speed. Soon Controller catches up to them and start chasing them as he destroys the train with his tentacles. The mages try fighting back with some old tools from the train and even hang off the edge, trying to make Controller fall. However, he uses the tentacles to move up and the mages must use their magic to teleport. On the roof, 𝐾𝐢 is also coming for them while Thunder's ship gets closer. He checks that 𝐸𝐸𝐾 can use the power and drops him on the train, where 𝐸𝐸𝐾 holds on at the last second to avoid falling. Thunder also comes and starts fighting 𝐾𝐢 by changing into his robot form and opening fire as he flies. 𝐾𝐢 rips off a roof piece to shield himself, then hits Thunder with it. 𝐸𝐸𝐾 puts armor over his hand to open a door, but instead he breaks it and falls off the train. He concentrates until he covers his whole body with the armor and runs with better speed. Nearby 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 is in her car and notices the train is going to Guard's house, so she heads there. Inside the train, Controller corners the mages and catches 𝐁𝐥∞, who throws the dagger at his partner. As a tentacle steals the dagger from 𝐸𝐽∠, 𝐸𝐸𝐾 finally gets inside and cuts the tentacle to grab the dagger first. When he tries to attack, Controller stabs him with his other tentacles. 𝐸𝐸𝐾 starts quoting the things 𝐸𝐲 taught him, and when Controller takes the dagger from him, he grabs 𝐸𝐲's hand and transfers Guard's power before passing out. Then the armor covers 𝐸𝐲's body and the dagger goes back to its original place. The armor also has a device in the hand that activates and starts extracting Controller from 𝐸𝐲's body. Suddenly 𝐾𝐢 jumps into the train and grabs the armored hand with his tentacle, only to be attacked by Thunder. By the time 𝐾𝐢 overpowers Thunder and pushes him away, the armor has removed Controller from 𝐸𝐲's body and he now moves down the tentacle to take over 𝐾𝐢 instead. 𝐸𝐲 becomes herself again at the same time that Controller ejects lots of power to make the train crash right into Guard's home, bringing down a bunch of buildings. As the mages are blown away, Thunder comes out of the debris with a pipe inserted in his body and realizes there are 6 minutes left before the explosion. When 𝐴𝐻𝐿 comes out, he uses his alien body to start fighting Thunder while Controller also appears in his true form. He finds 𝐸𝐲 on the ground and captures her with his tentacles, but at that moment 𝐃𝐢𝐯 arrives and throws her car at him, making him crash against a building and destroying more structures. 𝐁𝐥's magic sword falls from 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾's heirloom bag, and the mages hit Controller with it as he tries to stand up. Then the sword goes to 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾's hand, who reveals that 𝐁𝐥 left a letter for his descendants explaining some people from the past would arrive in the future someday. Together with the sword, he left them 𝐸𝐸𝐾's fan and the mages' weapons, who immediately grab them so they can cast magic again. 𝐸𝐸𝐾 is weak on the ground, but as soon as he sees his fan, he guides it to start attacking 𝐴𝐻𝐿. After bringing the alien down, the fan drops a sword from 𝐸𝐸𝐾. The mages then use their music powers to help 𝐸𝐲 and 𝐸𝐸𝐾 regain some energy. All the humans team up to fight and Thunder sees their chances of winning increasing. 𝐸𝐲 grabs the dagger and starts running toward the spaceship while the others fight the aliens to keep her safe. 𝐸𝐸𝐾 and 𝐃𝐢𝐯𝐢𝐾 use their swords while the mages use spells like a giant hand and magical clones. All this fighting continues to destroy the buildings and Collector still manages to reach 𝐸𝐲, capturing her and 𝐸𝐸𝐾 at the same time. Thunder comes over to cut a tentacle and 𝐸𝐲 can run again. 𝐃𝐢𝐯 throws her sword and 𝐸𝐝's soul makes it huge, stabbing 𝐴𝐻𝐿 to finally kill him. 𝐸𝐲 gets close enough to the spaceship and throws the dagger as she jumps, so Controller tries to reach it with his tentacle. However, 𝐟𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬 gets his word back from Thunder and cuts controller in two. At that moment the dagger hits the spaceship and shuts down the spaceship with all the Hava inside. This causes the aliens that aren't hiding inside a human body to start disintegrating. A part of controller manages to escape and tries to reach Min's son, so 𝐟𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬 uses magic to throw a car to open the door, then he jumps in to be stabbed instead of the girl. Before controller can get inside, 𝐟𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬 comes in and uses the armor to absorb the alien, transforming him into a small red crystal. As the crystal starts to crack, Thunder grabs it and explains controller will try to escape again, so he'll take the crystal to outer space to blow it up. This will kill Thunder too, so he says a final goodbye to Yi and even transforms into the Catman from 𝐟𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬 one last time. While Thunder leaves in the spaceship, he activates the time portal, which sucks the mages and 𝐟𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬 in to take them back to the past before Yi can share a goodbye with them. Downtown, the Hava cloud raises in the sky to follow the spaceship. In the past, 𝐟𝐢𝐠𝐡𝐭𝐬 can't stop thinking about Yi. Suddenly he remembers what Thunder explained about unstable energy and he manages to activate it again. He immediately returns to the present and calls a taxi to find his love. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.